What is the unique value proposition that NTT brings to the market in terms of DEX?
Yeah, I would say it's twofold. I think one thing we've built, as I mentioned, our XLA 2.0 has a unique consulting framework in our experience as a service model, and that starts with consulting. Beyond that, I think one of the things that really makes NTT Data powerful in the marketplace is we have deep industry expertise. And pick your sector, public sector, federal customers, health plan and life sciences, manufacturing, deep expertise in any one of those areas, and our revenues kind of speak to that. That just means, so when it comes to, it's not just XLA from a horizontal perspective, we're actually understanding why it's relevant and how you actually drive value for our healthcare customers and make it relevant for those folks. So for example, if it's a clinician in a healthcare setting, if it's a teacher or administrative staff in an education setting, if it's someone on the plant floor in a manufacturing setting, the XLAs you have those and those outcomes are very different in each use case. So I think we bring a unique position by understanding deep industry and domain expertise and bringing that to our XLA XPAS framework. One of the keys for us next is really digging into generative AI. So I'm sure that there's a lot of talk in the industry of how generative AI is being brought into specific use cases with clients. And so while we roll out XPAS, that XPAS framework to our client base, generative AI is powering a lot of these capabilities. So it's both understanding specific situations where we could have IT assist, like you mentioned, or knowledge management and knowledge creation, reducing mean time to resolution. All those are areas where we can bring generative AI to bear, but also working with partners like yourself, working with other ecosystem partners like Core to really harness generative AI to really bring some productivity gains. But the next step as well is not just what we're doing from a day-to-day productivity gains transactional perspective, but how are we reinventing business models and operating models with generative AI, right? Those are transformative changes, and that's some of the things we're trying to understand. So it's still open skies yet for that. So as we're speaking about generative AI as well, what's next for Nexthink? What do you see on the horizon? How do you see yourself working with partners like ourselves?
Well, let me start maybe by, the second question. I think partnering with the best industry experts in digital workplace is really important for us, because as a technology provider, we can provide the best technologies, but the detail or the specific use cases, they come out from the relationship between our customers and the service providers. So we see really the service providers as very strategic, especially as you said in the world in which we are heading into with AI, generative AI is really transformative. In terms of technology, for Nexthink, we see three things. The first thing is what we call DEXifying the world. That means that information that we have at Nexthink, we can really put it on top of ITSM products. We can put it on top of HR products. Let me give you a simple example, right? An HR person, they want to monitor, I think you mentioned that before, how the onboarding is going. So DEX has a lot of information about the onboarding. The second is really about automation. And again, we mentioned that before. So Nexthink Flow is really a very strong bet from Nexthink on the automation arena. We think that actually we have a tremendous capability to automate a lot of processes on the digital workplace because we are there. So we know the information, we can engage with the users, and we can remediate. The third is probably, like everyone else, to leverage the capabilities and the potential of generative AI. I think what generative AI is providing to DEX is somehow democratizing DEX, because right now DEX is something just for IT, but actually a CRO could be using a DEX tool to make sure people are opening opportunities on the CRM system. HR could be using DEX in order, through generative AI, in order to understand how people are experiencing the different offices. So there are so many possibilities that we can have with generative AI and DEX that we are just exploring them right now. So very excited about the future.
Excellent.
Thank you.